and scientific computing, imaging, many areas of applied mathematics, mathematical education. We're building up a strong statistics groups, and we have some specific expertise in certain areas of pure mathematics, like number theory, operator theory, graph theory, harmonic analysis. So when you're soon thinking about graduate programs and graduate studies, I want you to think about ASU and apply here. Carlos, with the help of others in the department, has secured scholarships for a large number of students, and those scholarships are sustainable. They're not just one-time deal. They will be around for several years. So when you make your decision, sort of talk to us again. Talk to the students, to the graduate students, talk to faculty, talk to Carlos, talk to me, and find out whether ASU is the right place for you to come for graduate studies. And with that, I think we should have dinner. Thank you.
Control biological fluid motion for detection and deliver genes. So please give a welcome to Dr. Antonio Garcia.
Mucha gasolina. All right. Thank you. And on behalf of the Hispanic Research Center as well, I'm Associate Director of the Hispanic Research Center. I'm really pleased to be here today. I realize that myself and Dr. Albert McHenry are the only people that are between you and La Gasolina. So I'm going to make my remarks relatively brief. One thing that was missing from my bio that I reminded President Crow about I think it was about a year ago when we had the Hispanic Convocation, was that my career peaked when I was about 16 years of age. I was playing in a band for money on the weekends, and we got the opportunity to play in a band in New York City, and on the program was Tito Puente, and he got up and he played for a song, and then he sat down, and we actually played as a mop-up band. We weren't even the warm-up band, we were the mop-up. But he was so gracious that he actually jumped up on stage and he played timbales. So my career peaked at the age of 16 when I got to play one song on stage with Tito Puente. So it's been down, I told President Crow, it's been downhill ever since. So I just wanted to share with you a couple of ideas about the New American University. That's what Dr. Carlos Castillio-Chavez asked me to do. And there are a couple of things come to mind, or three things actually come to mind about this event, the MTBI dinner, and what you've all have done at MTBI and the New American University. One of the things that I think is really important about what you've shown is that President Crow's vision that ASU is a place where we want to be inclusive and not exclusive, that this is not just rhetoric, that it actually happens. It happens because we have the mentors here in the room. It happens because we have the vision of Dr. Castillio-Chavez. It happens really because we have students here who are passionate about science, passionate about mathematics, and there's a process here in the MTBI where students apply, and it's not just who you know or what GPA you got or what school. It's more than that. It's what you're interested in, what kind of a mathematician, what kind of a person are you? Are you willing to take risks? Are you willing to understand and learn things? Are you willing to put up with a very intensive 7.5-week program and actually go in and try to really do something new and exciting? And I think when I think about the New American University, that's one of the things that President Crow keeps talking about is inclusive versus exclusive. This is, to me, the MTBI program is the model of the future. And I think it's spreading. And I think that that's one of the great things about what's happening at ASU. The other thing about the New American University that I really resonate to is the issue of transdisciplinarity, I think is the word President Crow uses. I call it interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary or forget about disciplinary. That might be the best way to talk about this. And the idea that somehow mathematicians can really, get out of that ivory tower and start talking about important things like HIV, like important things about OCD, and get published. Students here in this institute have gotten published in a variety of journals, psychology journals, ecology, and really and been able to communicate what is the power of understanding and breaking through those disciplinary barriers that us as faculty are really famous for doing, famous for promoting in terms of textbooks. This is the textbook for mathematics, this is a textbook for bioengineering, this is a textbook for physics. Being able to break all those barriers is really important because real world problems don't know disciplines. They can't ascribe to one particular discipline. And the MTBI program does this in an incredible way. And I think, again, this is an excellent model for the New American University. And so, and I really try to do that as well in the research that I do and the students that I do. I meet every week with people from a variety of disciplines. We have a bunch of faculty in chemistry, engineering, and in physics as well, where we get together and we talk about things and we try to break through that barrier. So I really appreciate the fact that MTBI does the same thing. And then I think the most important of this notion of the New American University that we see a lot here in the MTBI Institute is the idea that knowledge can have an impact on society. I've been interested in this notion as well as, what do I do? Should I just keep publishing papers and like everybody in this room understands the value of that? Or do we try to work on problems and then try to communicate why we're doing what we're doing to society? Can we get beyond the rhetoric? Can we get beyond symbols? And can we get beyond the idea that we're somehow better than the rest of society, but instead reach out, work on real world problems, explain to the public why it's important to study these, to study what we study in universities, what we're really trying to do to change the world. And again, I go back to the posters here that I've seen today, as well as I've seen over the course of the MTBI program, and it's clear that everybody here in the MTBI Institute, the students, the mentors, and all the other researchers who are involved, are really trying to stretch the envelope and tackle those real world problems. So I congratulate all of you here today, and thank you again for having me. And I'd like to turn over the podium to the next speaker. Thank you again.
He was awarded the membership rank of fellow at the 2001 ASEE Annual Conference. In 2004, Dr. was recognized as Mrs. Man of the Year for his commitment to the community. Please welcome Dr. McHenry.
Good evening. It is really a wonderful and honor situation for me to see all of you here and to know what you have been through in our wonderful MTBI Institute. This experience for you is something that will last a lifetime. You will have not only memories, but relationships that you will have formed here that will sustain you, that you will continue to have over a very long period of time. It is always interesting to follow one of my colleagues in this endeavor that we've been involved in now for almost 15 years, maybe a little over 15 years. Antonio Garcia, I see that Gary left. It's past Gary's bedtime already. And Michael Sullivan. We have been involved in this as a labor of love, a love not only for you, but for our society and for the world, because we believe so vehemently in what we've been doing. The process that you've been involved in here did not occur by accident. It is a well thought out, planned, contrived activity that has evolved over a long period of time. Even the primary person who is executing this activity and who is guiding many of our students through the doctoral process was hired under a conspiracy cloud. We found out that there was this wonderful person at Cornell University who was doing miraculous things in a mold that we had discussed and thought about here for a long time. In fact, some of you may have heard the name Richard Tapia. We tried to steal Richard Tapia and get him here, and of course Carlos has since made an effort to do that again. But what that is that he does is a hothouse process. It's a process of bringing talented faculty who understand the process of mentoring into close proximity with students who have been carefully selected and who are then mentored into a group that contribute heavily to a set of processes that lead to the standard results that we're all looking for in the research paradigm. That's what we've been trying to do. In fact, this was Gary's idea more than 15 years ago. Our first effort was called the Consortium to Increase Minority Doctorates. Of course, we never actually lived up to that name in those early days because the time had not come. We couldn't get it funded under that name. Nobody believed we could do it. And of course, we accepted the idiom of the time and the paradigm of the time, and we called ourselves several things over that period of time. You are now operating under the moniker AGEP, and that's a good one because what that means is we're creating folks who graduate from a strong program in the sciences with doctoral degrees who will then go on to join the professorate. That's what the P is for in that. It means that the goal here, the ultimate goal, is to have you replace us, those of us who are preparing people for the future. And that is the most noble thing that we can do, because it turns out that our society is built on a house of cards. That house of cards is on human intellect. And I'm a technologist, and I can tell you that everything that we do could go away in the flash of an eye. And we would be back in a very primitive period of our evolution. The trick to bringing it back, sustaining it, and keeping it is to continue to innovate. There's a very famous man who you all know about, who says the only way that we live is to innovate. What he said was, innovate or die. Who was that? Microsoft? Bill Gates, that's exactly right. Bill Gates says, innovate or die. And the reality is that we must do that. The more we leverage ourselves out on our scientific knowledge, on our intellectual capability, and on our capability of generating an artificial lifestyle associated with technology, the more we must innovate to sustain it. And that means that everybody has to get involved in creating methodologies that enable additional human beings to join this family of intellectual transdisciplinary